right, so here's the situation. We have a relatively short par 4, and what we're going to talk about today is playing for position versus distance. You may not be able to see a whole lot more other than just a bunch of desert. The green grass just kind of pops out in between. Got a couple of tee boxes right here, and then the fairway that I'm hitting to is down here. You'll probably see like a nice little sliver of green grass. There's some cactus, and then there's a boulder over to the right hand side of the fairway. Basically, this is not a driver hole for me. So what we're going to talk about is how to make a nice smooth swing with your 3-wood and then get yourself into position rather than going for distance. So first thing, you want to tee your fairway wood appropriate height to the 3-wood versus the driver. Because you're dealing with a much thinner face, you want to go ahead and tee it down. I typically push it down until my fingers touch the grass and that they make a nice little firm space in there. You don't want it to just barely touch the grass. You want to go ahead and push it down to where the soil would be, right? So that the ball is up, but it's up at about even with the fairway height grass. The reason for this is because when you're striking the fairway wood off the fairway, that's what you're doing, right? You're hitting right down here where the grass is. If you go ahead and tee up your fairway wood too high, a lot of times you'll pop it up, or you'll make more of a driver swing and you won't make that nice smooth shot down the fairway. So what I'm going to do here, since I'm just playing for position, is I want to make sure that I make a nice smooth swing. One thing that usually happens for players in this situation is they relax too much. They take too wide of a target. They pretend they're on the driving range and it's kind of take a lackadaisical approach, and then what happens is they miscue. Well, really, if this is a shorter hole, you should be trying to maximize and make birdie on this hole. So even though you're playing for position and you have a much larger landing area out there, you really want to narrow your focus. Remember, aim small, miss small, right? So in this situation, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to aim for one of these nice mow lines down the fairway. So instead of giving myself this huge window of area to land my ball in, I'm actually going to try to land it in a space that's maybe 2 or 3 paces wide down there in the fairway. And what that's going to do is really narrow my focus in. And then as I'm making my smooth swing, I'm definitely going to work on hitting it solid and not far. But because my focus is narrowed, it's going to help me to produce a much more solid shot. So as I go through this and hit it for you, I'm looking at the dark green stripe straight down the fairway. I'm allowing my eyes to just kind of narrow in and focus on that. Really trying to hit it as straight as I can right down that mow line. And now I'm going to make a nice smooth swing. And I missed my mow line by 2 mow lines, right? So if each mow line is only about 2 or 3 paces, I'm actually only about 6 or 8 paces from my target. So that would be considered a great shot, right? Very solid, nice and straight. But I can tell you that if I had not narrowed my focus, I could have gotten lackadaisical and come up and topped it right here in the desert. I could have squirted it off to the right, or I could have accidentally mistimed it and hooked it. So narrow your focus even though the target is wide, and that'll help you to make sure you hit a solid shot. So that's your situation. Hopefully it will help you next time you're out on the course.